Today, we're talking about Italy, a country that, on the surface, seems totally united by one flag and one language, but underneath, it's deeply, deeply divided by an invisible economic border. You have the industrial powerhouses of the north, and then you have the sun-baked, struggling landscapes of the south. Italy is really living a double life. It's a tale of two completely different economies and two very different futures, all happening inside the same country. And just look at this heat map. It tells the whole story without a single word. You can literally see that cool blue of prosperity up in the north clashing with that fiery red of economic struggle down south. And we're not just talking about a little gap here. This is a chasm, a fracture that has been splitting the country for more than a century. So you have to ask, right, how on earth does this happen? How does a modern G7 nation, one of the world's leading economies, end up so fundamentally broken in two? To figure that out, we really need to dig in and see how this invisible border got drawn in the first place. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell, share and like my videos. The information in this video has been compiled from open sources. Thank you. All right, so an invisible divided nation. You see, this whole story, it doesn't start with one single thing. It really begins with the birth of the modern Italian state itself, where history and geography kind of conspired to lay the groundwork for this massive split. The absolute heart of the issue is in a region they call the Mezzogiorno. Now, that literally just means midday. It's the traditional name for southern Italy. And for generations, this area, places like Sicily and Calabria, has been home to Italy's richest culture, but also its most stubborn economic problems. And this is not a new problem, not by a long shot. The seeds were planted way back in 1861 when Italy became a country, and these two vastly different economies were sort of stitched together. Then, after World War II, while the North was having this economic miracle, the South got left behind, and that created a vacuum, which was filled by a really powerful and destructive force. And that destructive force is exactly what we need to talk about next. So, the mafia's economic shadow. Because to really understand the divide today, you have to look at this invisible but incredibly powerful economic player, organized crime. And we're not just talking about street crime here. This is like a parallel economy that casts a very long, dark shadow. The impact is just staggering. Just look at that number. Research shows that the presence of these powerful criminal organizations literally drags down a region's GDP per capita by 16%. Let that sink in for a second. It's like having an extra 16% tax on everything, collected through fear, and it just completely crushes any chance the South has of catching up. And you've got to understand, this isn't an accident. It's not some unfortunate side effect. This is their business model. It's a brilliant two-pronged attack. First, you strangle legitimate private businesses with extortion. And then, you turn around and feast on the biggest pile of cash available, public money that was supposed to be for development. Don't just take my word for it. The legendary anti-mafia judge Giovanni Falcone, a man who paid the ultimate price for his work. He laid it all out. He figured that more than a fifth of all mafia profits came directly from state-funded projects. This goes way beyond simple crime. It's a systemic hijacking of the country's resources. So this deep, deep influence over public money, well, it creates this culture of corruption that just poisons everything from the ground up, and it cripples any chance of real growth. Think of it like a quiet, devastating, invisible tax. All that money that should be going to build new schools, or better roads, or life-saving hospitals, it just vanishes. It's a tax on the future, and it's paid by ordinary people who never get the services they deserve. And this isn't just about money. In the real world, this stuff becomes lethal. When there's an earthquake, the consequences are laid bare. This quote from a study is just haunting. When the ground shakes, it's the poorly built schools that crumble like houses of sand, while the well-funded government buildings stay standing. The ripple effects from this are just massive. Money for construction disappears, you get infrastructure that's not safe, honest politicians get threatened, entrepreneurs who actually want to play by the rules get shut out, and over time, people just lose all trust in the system, creating this vicious cycle that's almost impossible to break. So who pays the ultimate price for this entire broken system? Well, it's the next generation. Their ambitions and their talents are just suffocated, which brings us to the great Italian brain drain. I mean, just put yourself in their shoes for a second. You're young, you're educated, you're full of ambition, but you look around and see that the whole system is rigged. There's just no path forward. what do? They leave. It's as simple as that. It's a phenomenon we call brain drain, and it's a slow-motion catastrophe for the South. They pack their bags, and they take all their skills, their energy, and their future tax dollars with them, making the places they leave behind even weaker.
Okay, I know, this all paints a really bleak picture. And it is. Which brings us to the most important question of all, right? Is this cycle actually unbreakable? Is there any hope for things to change?
Well, believe it or not, some of the data gives us a real glimmer of hope. Just look at this. This chart shows what happens to local jobs after a successful anti-mafia operation removes a corrupt local government. That year zero on the chart, that's the intervention. And look what happens right after. The economy starts to bounce back, employment starts to climb, and this proves something absolutely fundamental. The problem isn't the people. It's not the culture. It's not the place itself. It is the systemic drag of organized crime. When you finally lift that weight off, the natural economic energy of the region just explodes. Real businesses, the ones who were shut out before, finally get a chance to grow and create real jobs. So, what does this all add up to? What's the big takeaway from this deep, painful division? Well, that brings us to our final section, a test for a nation. Because fixing this fracture, it's about so much more than just balancing a budget. It's about solidifying the very foundation of the country itself. It's a test of whether a nation can really call itself united when prosperity isn't shared by everyone. And that's why, in the end, this isn't just Italy's story. In a world where we see inequality growing everywhere, what's happened in Italy is a powerful warning for all of us. It shows that figuring out how to bridge these internal divides and how to make sure prosperity reaches every single corner of a country, well, that's a challenge every modern nation is going to have to face.